What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Dash Rendar and today we are looking extra barbaric because the mission today is to talk about the original hunters, the original warriors, those that existed in the Paleolithic period. So the Paleolithic period was basically 2.5 million years to 10,000 BCE. So it's a huge swath of time. Then after that you have the Mesolithic period, which is about 10,000 BCE to about 8,000, and the Neolithic period. Paleolithic itself derived from the Greek word meaning old stone. What I want to do is cover the weapons and the tools that humans used in those times to change their status from prey to predator. In the Paleolithic period, most things were just sticks and stones. They had hand axes, which is just a piece of rock that was cut and you could kind of use it to carve into things. And then in the Mesolithic and Neolithic period and the later Stone Age, stuff really starts to get cool. That's when you start to see the advent of rocks attached to spears. You start to see the Atal come out. The sling was estimated about 7,000 BCE by one particular site, but it's hard because most all slings are made of just organic materials, so they decompose really quickly. But there's some cave drawings that show and have a sling in that, so it's kind of history and proof of that. So I'm going to go over each of those, how they were used, the hunter-gatherer tribe of people, and how we dominated the food chain. So the first thing we have going for us is the spear. Now this is assumed to predate even early human civilization, somewhere around 300,000 BCE. Before early man came, this could have been used by our ancestors. Spear itself is the king of weapons for a reason. It extends that reach, it gives you the ability to throw, you can lay down, you can take down much larger prey with it just by extending your reach to keep you out of harm's way. Additionally, let's say you have a large animal and it's hard for you to pierce their skin. Well, the big thing you're gonna have is the gravitational advantage of them falling onto you. So it's shown that people used to hunt bears and things, they would basically stake it up and then put it to the ground so that that creature falls onto it. The weight of that is going to push into it to be able to take down something much larger than yourself and with much tougher skin and a hide than you could probably just thrust through. Now, could you do a super cool cinematic jump down onto your prey? Well, possibly, but I think it's a bad idea because with no medical care in that time, you blow out your knee. That's the end of the day for you. They take you out to pasture. Of course, they didn't have a super sleek or cool spearhead made out of steel, but they would still use obsidian or rock, and they'd be able to knock that off and carve that into an extremely sharp point. And that could penetrate just about anything through almost any animal hide. So ingenuity at its finest by our early forebears. Next up, we have the Atlatl. Now, I did a long length video on the Atlatl, been practicing with it, getting quite a bit better. This came around the Upper Paleolithic or Neolithic time when man started to experiment with things, and then they were figuring out ways to improve the throw of their spear. And by simply adding this on here and giving that little bit of extension to the arm, you could throw something further, farther, faster, and you had the ability to take down larger game. Now, the other great thing about the Atlatl, I've already touched about this in the other video that I did, was that it can be done from a hidden or crouched position, making it much better for ambushing. And if there was wartime or this was used as a weapon in war, it was much easier than a spear to get an advantage or surprise on someone because you don't need that big running start as you do with a much larger spear. So it really gives you the ability to maximize what you can do with minimal effort. And in doing so, it's fantastic for ambushing larger predators or even in warfare. Now, it's estimated in that time, the Neolithic period, that's where slings came into play. Like I said, they're really hard to track archaeologically because they're made of organic material and they tend to fall apart. But what they can find is shaped stones. And that's one thing they found is a lot of shaped rock. That gives credence to the idea that slings were used at that time. Really cool archaeological discovery in Turkey at this place, because I'm not going to try that name, but they found cave paintings of someone wielding what looked to be a sling. So there's records that those were used during that time also. Now, slings really are one of my favorite weapons just for their simplicity and the fact that you can use almost anything as a projectile to cause immense damage. They would be very, very useful in warfare against other tribes or other people groups, or it could be fantastic in hunting. You just have an unlimited supply of ammo, and they would shape those rocks to get better speed, better distance, but a good slinger can sling a sling up to 400 yards. You're not going to pinpoint a target, but if you're in warfare and you're lobbing them over, even though they were small people groups at the time, you had a great advantage, which is going to be a fantastic way to take care of things. And blunt damage as well could shatter bone on prey to keep them from running, incapacitate them. It was just an all-around amazing tool and great little simple invention by early man. Other things that have been universally found are axes, hand axes. Now they wouldn't look like this, of course, but the concept is the same. You have a heavy object at the top, and it was great for blunt impact. It was used a lot of times as tools for agriculture or for work or chopping down trees, but it very well could be used in defense. But to my knowledge, there's not a lot of proof that shows these were used in hunts. They really would be much less useful than a spear or an atlatl or anything like that. It would be more of a tool and possibly as a weapon. The way they would do it is they'd take a large piece of wood and they would get kind of like that handstone I was talking about, similar things where they'd sharpen it out. They would stick it in between the wood, tie it off with a sinew, and then voila, you have something to chop down some trees. So anyone who's played Minecraft probably knows that's the easiest thing to do right away, and you can just start chopping. And then of course we come to my unabashed and personal favorite, the bow. Now they weren't rocking a 155-pound war bow, but the things that were most commonly found were arrowheads, were leaf-type arrowheads. Figuring out that there's elasticity in the wood and there's a certain point where you can bend it and make it into a projectile really was a huge game changer. So these were abundant in that time period. And again, that's gonna fall in that cool period, I would like to call it, the Neolithic period, where people were just figuring stuff out, putting things together, putting combinations together. And this is just one of those videos that's to me kind of like a passion project. It's not like, not a Liver King thing. I'm not trying to say these are the 7 ancestral tenets you need to connect with your early human thing, but it's just an appreciation of the ingenuity of where we came from to where we are now. Using wood, stone to basically take down everything in the food chain because we were not well equipped. There were things running around like the short-nosed cave bear that were massive. There was other creatures that were just roaming the landscapes, and through ingenuity, through creativity, exploration, trial and error, we were able to climb our way to the top, even being small and weak comparatively to almost everything. Great as all the inventions of the time were, and as far as we've come as people, the thing that gave us the best ability to thrive was our cooperation. It was the ability to work towards a common goal that let us rise to the top. And I think that's one thing that we kind of forget, is that it's the ability to live together and build together that makes us special. And that's the true ingenuity of people, is figuring out how to put up with each other from all different creeds and all different cultures. So that's my random little thing for the day, is that we are special in that way because we can grow together, learn together, and prosper together. That was it, kind of a cheesy ending, but it felt right. So